All right, on to number 20, which is health is wealth. And that's in all aspects, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. It's important to stay healthy early on so we don't have those adverse effects on down the line, which is exercise the best way you can, stay mobile, as yeah, stay as mobile as you can, taking care of your mental health, knowing when to take a mental detox, whether it's from social media or from work life or family life, taking a sit down bath can help, or in the esoteric realm, a spiritual bath with Epsom salt or some flower petals, some essential oil, so you can be able to smell the aroma, get the essence of the essential oil, right? On a spiritual aspect, you getting right with yourself, learning to be to live your your best life in the best way, shape, or form, as an abiding citizen the best way you can, right? As well as on a financial standpoint, well, everybody is in their own situation when it comes to financial standpoint, but it is important to like be able to budget yourself or be disciplined, have some sort of discipline in regards to your budget on a financial standpoint. So I covered physically, I covered mentally, I covered spiritually, emotionally. Okay. On an emotional aspect, um tapping you be sure you have room and support to tap into how you are feeling at the moment in an emotional standpoint. And if you are feeling those feelings, go ahead and let them out. But it's important to not sit in that energy for a long period of time. Once you let those feelings out, then feel free to continue on your daily activities, as per usual, because once you sit in that energy, you are going to is going to lead to that self-destruction, of that self-sabotaging entrapment being all in your head. So it's important to, keeping track of your health in all aspects, because health is wealth, which will follow through with the next point.
Hey y'all, so in the midst of me recording the series of the 30 lessons that I learned, I forgot a couple and I overlooked I overlooked them. So to continue on with the 30 lessons that I learned, the 21st lesson was supposed to be know when to let go for as outgrowing the person, place, or thing. So, in regards to knowing when to let go, in order to bring something new, you have to release something that is old, right? So, even though you want to hold on to something that seems familiar to you and is your comfort zone, if it's not serving in your highest good, it's important for you to gently release it the best way, shape, or form that you know how, whether it's by a cleansing ritual, a burning ritual where you'll write down the person, place, or thing that you want to get rid of, and you just burn it and let the ashes go to ashes, the paper or whatever objects go to ashes as a form of releasing and letting go, so you can make new so you can bring in and make new projects or dreams and aspiration that you want to bring into your life, so you can continue on to your path and living truly in your purpose. So that's one of the lessons that I learned in regards to my years being on this physical realm, is to know when it's time to let go. Even though it's going to hurt like heck in the beginning, it's important to be able to to let it go the best way you can, the best way you know how, because only you know how you react and respond to things. But if you want to respond to it in a healthy manner, it is just really best if you have a therapist, seek to your therapist on some ways that you can let go of that energy. Also, if you want to chime in and link up with me, because I can be your spiritual guide, counselor, life coach in itself. I can provide you the tools that way you can go into self-help mode, help yourself, meaning into helping releasing the energy that is keeping you stagnant, because that's where you feel comfortable at. That's where that familiar territory is at. And you still want to make things happen, but you're still trying to hold on to things that really and truly that you already know already. You just finding the right time, the right person to just let it go. It's just really let it go at this point. So when it's time to let go, let go. The next point will be don't give up. Even though things seems hard, it's important to find other alternative ways to be able to reprogram or unlearn the things that you have been taught for so long that will keep you in that stuck energy to where you feel like you want to give up. And it's important when it comes to a point where you want to give up, there's always several ways to get to a goal. For a prime example, when it comes to me wanting to do things in the professional realm, there's always an alternative realm that you can seek and actually link to people who have the resources. That way you can get around the best way, shape, or form in an ethical manner to achieve that goal. Meaning that when I wanted to go into counseling at some point in time, so of course you'll have to take courses in college to gain that degree, or so to speak. But I've always, so yeah, when it's important to don't give up on something, you have to figure out another way to get to that point, because if not, then you're going to really get to a point where you're just going to call it quits for it all, because of the simple matter that you're already in that stubborn frustration of you can't get over a hump, because the plan did not work in your favor. The plan did not go as planned. So that's why it's important to just calm down. And once you have calmed down, try to figure out another way to get to that goal, so you won't be all up in your head, frustrated, aggravated because things didn't work out as planned. Okay? So that's why it's important to give up, not to give up. Don't give up. All right. And then the other point was, if you see something, say something. We have been taught for so long to hold our tongue, and there are, I won't even say protocols, but there are times when needed where you need to shut your mouth. And there are times where when you do see something and it's not normal, or in this case is not ethical, and it doesn't feel right to you. So if you shut your mouth and you don't speak up and say something about the wrongdoing, then it leads for that person who already did that wrongdoing to keep doing it again. So even though you don't want to hurt a person's feelings, or you don't want to ruin their reputation, or whatever the case may be, however, if you are doing something wrong, or the person is doing something wrong and nobody is saying anything about it, but again, in the long run, as I stated before, the decisions you make can determine your destiny, or the decision that you make can determine the consequences, whether they're good or bad. It's important to unlearn that behavior of closing your mouth. And as the old saying goes, closed mouths don't get fed, right? So if you see something, say something. Don't just try to look the other way and act like you ain't see anything. It's important to say something if you know about something that can bring some sort of resolution to the issue of wrongdoing. We have a habit, definitely, well, back then, there was a habit, and that is a very toxic trait of the habit of not saying something when you see something, due to either, you being scared, or you, or the person can seem as a threat to you, either by power, status, height, age, the demeanor, in any shape or form. But it's important to raise that awareness and really truly to unlearn that behavior, because you don't know, somebody else is going through that same situation. And if you haven't done your due diligence and speak out on the wrongdoings that either you have done, or the other person has done unto you, and not take accountability of it, and also forgive yourself for allowing the person or yourself overextending that boundary, due to the fact that you wouldn't take that from anyone else. So the fact that you allowed somebody else to overextend that boundary and you let it happen, that's when it comes to a play like, okay, did you vocalize that you've crossed the boundary, or we've already expressed this before? Why are you continuing to break that? Why is the behavior continuing? And that's when self-reflection is needed, so you can be able to pinpoint the root cause of that issue, and then raise awareness to it. And then once that has been addressed, then you can follow through into, now you can vocalize your boundaries again, or vocalize what has been in the wrongdoings before, and then come to a better solution in the healthy way to speak up. All right, so that's definitely a lesson that I've learned. Holding my tongue for so long, to where it's time to say what I need to say. And if you take, offense to it, then that's just something that you will have to go within yourself and do some self-reflection, so you can be able to fix that shadow work, address it the best way you can, and move forward. All right, so back to the clip.
Point of balance your work and your home life. Balancing your home and work life is important, because you need to know when to turn it on and turn it off, right? So, especially when you have home businesses, it's important to know when to cut it off. Soon as give yourself a plan your hours out according to how you feel like you can be at your highest peak in performance and productivity. That way you can be able to have a cutoff time and be able to be present, right? Be in the moment with your family members at the house, and continue on with your day-to-day activities as a family or as an individual. That way it won't linger over to your work or vice versa, okay? Because I know when it comes to my job, soon as I clock out, I don't look at anything uh job related, unless unless my supervisor reaches out to me. That is probably about the only thing that I'll just look over and see what the problem is. But other than that, soon as I clock out from that job. I don't even go back to that desk. I don't even go back. I'm not looking twice. I'm focused on what I need to focus on now, which is me, myself, my son, and doing the bare necessities around the house. Okay, as well as filming these videos for YouTube for y'all to indulge, right? So other than that, balance work and home. Be able to balance your masculine energy and your feminine energy. Yes, everybody has both. And it's important to manage and balance both of them and not letting one outweigh the other. Okay? Which leads to the number 25 point is practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. Just as much as I'm preaching to you all and the lessons that I learned, I try my best to live by what I preach. I have individuals in my family that are very anointed in their own little special way to where I cannot do shady stuff. Not that I want to, but it's just the simple fact that if I do it, somebody is going to feel it, right? Somebody is going to recognize it just by my demeanor or how I'm looking at the time, right? So I just try to keep things to a straight and narrow, keep my P's and Q's, stay on my P's and Q's the best way, shape, or form. And I continue to practice what I preach because just as much as I love giving everybody advice, I got to be the one that follow my own advice as well. So shouts out to everybody who does that, gives everybody else advice, and don't do it for them dang or for their dang selves for some odd reason. Mostly is due to avoiding things that they don't want to confront. So yeah, be sure to practice what you preach. In the words of, I believe it's Barry White, practice what you preach. I'm telling you once, telling you twice. Hear me, okay? Practice what you preach. Um, because we do have a lot of false prophets about out of the yin yang nowadays. And yes, they are human as well, but you cannot come in a judgmental manner to the collective on what they should do in regards to their day-to-day lives, and you're not practicing what you preach. So again, it's like literally calling the kettle black at that point. Which leads to the next point. Good thing